Meanwhile, let's run the hurry up. Dan Orlovsky, some of your big takeaways from the college weekend, starting with the quarterback.
Yeah, Justin Herbert had a really, really good weekend without his top three receivers playing a outstanding Auburn defense. Led Oregon to a game that they should have won, mismanaged at the end, and credit Auburn for making some plays at the end of the game. But Justin Herbert firmly planted himself to a top 5 pick conversation after week 1.
They didn't win because of this kid.
Man, Bo Nix ended this game the way a kid named Bo Nix should. You talk about showing some onions. One of the hardest things as a player is to not play well for most of the game and then have an opportunity and go, I got to erase everything because nothing else before this happened matters. I've got a chance to go win the game. The way he handled that situation was incredible to watch for a true freshman who had just been named the starter 10 days ago.
And then finally, transfer portal.
Big weekend for transfer quarterbacks. Justin Fields made the wrong decision right. Going to Georgia was the wrong decision. Make the right one. Transfer to Ohio State. He had a massive weekend and probably opened our eyes again to this kid might be what everyone thought he was coming out of high school. Lit it up. 4 touchdowns within the first 8 minutes of the weekend, and he has brought his name into the conversation of don't forget about me. I'm one of the great quarterbacks in college football this year.
And then there's LSU. I know you were very high on them. They lit up Georgia Southern. That's not a big surprise. But the big story was Joe Burrow threw 5 touchdowns in the first half.
This offense looks explosive. Burrow was 23 of 27. He threw for 5 touchdowns. They've got some weapons on the outside. Justin Jefferson and Marshall. Marshall's a 6'4 sophomore, 3 touchdowns. But Joe Burrow gives this LSU offense a part of it or an example that they've never had.
All right, Sam, I want to go through some of these that we just go back to as thrilling as that game was between Oregon and Auburn, and it lived up to the hype, and it comes down to that last play. The sort of narrative going in was if Oregon loses that game, the Pac-12 is basically done. Is that what we saw over the weekend?
No, I don't think so because of the other games that were lost in the SEC. Like, it looked really bad for the Pac-12 early when you started watching the games because they were losing games they absolutely cannot lose. But then we saw it all over college football. So it evens itself out. There's still a whole lot to be played. I will say this, though, really quickly on Bo Nix. I talked to Jordan Palmer, who coached him a lot, about him and whether or not this was surprising to see a guy at this level step up. Not at all. He's like, this guy's been watching Cam Newton. Yeah. That was he was all about Cam growing up, went to that game, that national championship game where we've seen the footage. He's just that kind of guy. It's never going to be too big.
Yeah, it was really a treat for us to watch Herbert make some plays. But the Bo Nix mix, and hopefully we have the video of him and Gus Malzahn on the sidelines because we heard a little bit of like this kid's wired a little bit different. He's got some moxie. There's a play near the end of the game where, again, he handles a very difficult situation. He's been the starter for 10 days as a true freshman at a place where his father played. You talk about pressure and expectations, and he takes down a guy who's some believing to be a top 5 draft pick at the quarterback spot. And he's just got this moment on the sideline with Gus, and he just goes,
yeah, I love it.
And it was just like, I'm here.
And then finally, to go back very quickly, I know I'm jumping around here, the Ohio State point, when you saw what they were able to do, could that offense be even better now without Dwayne Haskins?
It can be better because Justin Fields brings the running ability back to this offense. And Ryan Day has such a great feel for guys who have super different talents. Justin Fields, to me, threw the ball better than I had anticipated. He ran their offense really well. But this kid is a dynamic athlete. So you're taking, I'm not saying he's the passer Dwayne was last year, but he's going to be a very good passer in this offense. And now adding the fact that he is this running threat, this offense could be better.
So after just seeing them in one game, what do you think the ceiling is for this Ohio State team? Do you think they're disrupting the a la Clemson dynasty right now?
I do. And I get to call their game at noon this weekend against Cincinnati on ABC. But this team now, because this offense and defense looked better, they're dangerous in the college football playoff.
And the coach in Cincinnati, Fickle, was briefly the coach at Ohio State.
Everyone, thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports, more analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+. We'll see you there.